All right, welcome everybody to the Lunch Bunch on this November 6th, as we are going to be going through, I think, chapter 14 or 13. What are we on?
13.
13. I know I read the right chapter. I just didn't remember what it was in my but I was just talking about FedEx. So I have the catalogs obviously you're going to get from the company, but we have recruiting packets that you can print. All of these print things are on bees.pink, our unit website. And this one you print as an 11 by 17 on both sides folded. And we hand that out as a recruiting packet with an insert, which I don't have right here because I just gave out my last one. There's an insert that shows the different costs of the 35 and the 90. Then there's another 11 by 17 that you print, which is a hostess packet. So this is once your hostess books their party, we're going to put over here when and where their party is. And inside it's got a place for them to put their guest list, their wish list. It's got the hostess flyer, and it's got information about the levels of the business on the back.
Did that ever get fixed where it would print right from FedEx? Remember it? Because when I printed it, I could never get it to print.
Yeah, under party tools, it's on an 11 by 17.
Okay.
Let me look
It
again.
wasn't when I tried to, but then we talked about it, so that's why I was thinking you had talked about getting it fixed, but I didn't know if it was because it wasn't on the 11 by 17 originally.
Oh, all right. And I thought I had put that in there because I'm looking at 4 separate pages. Oh, no.
Like when I printed it, it was
Hostess packet.
it printed like each page
Yeah.
11 by 17, 4 different pages like that.
Okay, I just put it on Kim's list. And I'm wondering if it's anywhere else, because I thought it only looked like that in the customer part where it says opportunity. Is there a hostess flyer there? Okay. New consultants. No, it's not on that page either. Okay. All right. It's on her list. I probably voice clipped it to her in a Voxer instead of putting it on her list, and that can be forgotten, Yeah. All right. So then the other things, Marilyn and Jane and I were just talking about it. The special deals changes every month. So this is the November one. So I always Z fold them. That's what this fold is called. That's a Z fold because it looks like a Z from the side. With the text out, it'll give you the option of text out or text in. These color copies are so crisp and fresh, and you're not using up your own color printer. We were printing things at Jane's yesterday, and the poor thing, her color started giving out. It was streaking. It just wasn't solid like that. And this is 22 to fold it. It's 24 cents a copy. I mean, compared to what they charge regular people, it's insane. And if you want black and white copies, it's 3 cents for a black and white copy. We have our hostess program, and I print these, and these never change. So I'll print 100 of these at a time, and they go in every single order.
And you get those done at anywhere.
FedEx.
FedEx.
FedEx. Yeah,
Okay.
FedEx is going to give you the cheapest rate, and they'll ship it right to you, like she said, for like $9.
Okay.
Yeah, so at the beginning of every month, I'm always What's that?
Oh, Beverly's here in the back.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
I'm like, wait a second. I saw nobody's mouth moving, and I'm hearing voices. Like, what's happening? Hi, Beverly.
Hello.
So, also when we do our booking calls, we have these booklets that we print that have a bunch of pages on it to put our new leads in and track who we're calling. and I just printed up a new one because mine's pretty full. So you can print these back to back, black and white. It's like $4 or $5. And it lasts you so long, and you have one place to carry your leads with you where you're not pulling out a bunch of different pieces of paper and stuff like that. And then our bubble sheet. Where is my bubble packet? You can see I haven't used it in a second because I was making so many calls, it didn't matter how many bubbles I went through. I think it is over on my kitchen counter where I was making my calls though. The bubble sheet are just circles to cross off because you've made so many calls. So if you're like, I'm going to count out 10 bubbles and I'm not going to stop making phone calls until I get through 10 people. And the calls are anything for your business. It could be an interview. It could be following up with a customer. It could be booking a new customer for pampering. It could be coaching a hostess for what she wants to expect with her party and keep her excited, you know. And also knowing that it'll be part of reschedules. Like I had a 1 o'clock in person scheduled here today. And I went to confirm with her and she said, I will not be attending. And I said, well, I'm so sorry to hear that. I hope everything's okay. What's a better day to reschedule? And she says, I just have so much going on right now. I have a lot on my plate. Sorry. And I said, well, that's the reason to make time for you. Don't forget to put the oxygen mask on yourself. You know, so planting that seed, whether it'll turn into a reschedule versus a cancellation is to be determined. But that's what happens. I'm so busy, I can't take time to go pamper myself and love on myself, is what women will automatically think, you know? So 80% of the bookings and sales will happen on the 5th to 12th time that you reach out to somebody. So that's why we track this. How many times have we called them? Okay. Because if you only call them once or twice, you're just throwing bookings and money out the window because they're not as excited about Mary Kay as we are. We have to train them to love Mary Kay. Encourage. Right? We kind of wonder, like, what's wrong with these people? Why don't they love Mary Kay as much as we do? All right. So chapter 13. How to create the best friendships of your life. I'm going to tell you, this chapter hit home so good because, like, I look now, a lot of my friends are in Mary Kay. But a lot of my Mary Kay friends don't live around the corner. Like Marilyn and Leslie do, right? Like Jane and Josie do. All my Mary Kay friends are quite the drive. So, or the flight, right? Like I have friends all over the US. So I was thinking about this today and I think about it a lot too. Like, boy, when I retire, when I truly retire and I just want to sit back and enjoy life, what do I do outside of Mary Kay that I enjoy? And, you know, Jane and Marilyn, you probably have a bunch of things because you're brand new to Mary Kay. You're like, well, this is what I did before last week. When I said yes, you know. I've been in it for 18 years and it's just become such a staple in my life. Like, what do I even talk about outside of that, right? And so this really hit home and I said, you know what? There are quite a few women that I really enjoy that I network with through the local chamber and their local business owners as well. And yes, I've talked with them to get them hopefully to try Mary Kay products and give me their opinion and that kind of thing. But I genuinely like them as people, you know, and I genuinely like my consultants as people. But sadly, when they fall off, if they decide they don't want to do Mary Kay anymore, they feel like they can't even talk to me anymore. So I feel like I lose friends when they quit Mary Kay, you know, and I don't think that that's necessary either. So I reached out because of this chapter. I reached out to one of the ladies that just fell on my heart immediately and was like, hey, I'd love to get together, like not to network, but just to hang out. I think we'd be great friends. We have so much in common. And you guys, she works another direct sales cosmetic skincare company.
Oh, no.
But I'm telling you, like, I genuinely like this woman. I don't look at her as competition. I don't believe she looks at me as competition. You know, they're both great products, that, you know, that kind of thing. And it's like we could really have a good, strong relationship and we could sell different things and we could have different passions, and that kind of thing. So it was a really good conversation. So how about you guys when you read it? What are your thoughts on it?
I I like the way that she said that you need to step out first and and de- and actually develop find out what this person is all about and what their interests are and connect with them. That was important to me.
Right.
It really spoke to me.
I don't want to forget your stickers for the lunch fund. Thank you all for being here. Yeah, like how she said, I have been sitting next to these people at the coffee house for a year, seeing them every day, not knowing their name, and we have so much in common. Like we could have been sitting here becoming best friends for the last year, and realizing they were a year new to that neighborhood too. That was so good.
Mm.
How about Leslie or Jane? What were your thoughts on this chapter?
I like that part too, and, not only with reading this, but in coaching, Scott's talked about, when he walks in the park to actually speak to people, and so I try my best, even though I'm totally the one that will go into a store and pray nobody speaks to me, um, and just let me get through what I need to get through. I've caught myself where I'm actually speaking to people. I was in the doctor's office the other day and I'm sitting there on my phone doing my own little thing. Um, and this lady sits down next to me and she starts talking to me, and I'm just like, she's talking to me about her insurance. And my first thought was, lady, I don't really care. You know what I'm saying? It was early in the morning. Like, I'm so sorry that your insurance is changing. And I mean, it was like we were long lost friends. And I'm like, "Do you not see me trying to be do something on my phone?" So finally, I just put my phone down and I like turned towards her and I just let her talk. And she told me goodbye and hope that I had a wonderful day. And I thought, okay, so maybe this lady she just needed somebody to talk to. And I was not making the first comment to her. You know what I'm saying? Like I was literally not, because she had made a comment to me and I remember I was sitting there and I purposely was not making contact with her because I was not ready to chit chat. And by gosh, she was. And she meant she was going to talk to me. And
I had
so,
that exact same experience when I moved to the South, and I thought it was a Southern thing.
I mean, later in the day, maybe I would have talked to her first, but like it was early in the morning. And I just wasn't ready to have a conversation. And so it just really got me. Like, I have purposefully, when I meet someone, I look them in the eye and I speak, whether it be hello, or just whatever.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, that was one of the things that I thought about. People just need to talk sometimes.
Yeah, we
And
need
even though I
that
had nothing to say and I couldn't help her at all, like she just needed to tell somebody about her problems.
I feel
Um,
that this pandemic has just separated people from even talking to one another.
mhm.
And so people need that. They need that interaction because there's so much Zoom and teledoc and, that kind of thing going on. And technology that's moving too fast for some people, to just want to talk to a human being and be heard and seen and all those things, right? Marilyn, where
Yeah.
did you move from to the South?
From Michigan,
Oh, okay.
and it was very similar experience. I was in a waiting room, and that this lady just proceeded to tell me all her inner secrets and everything, and I'm going, "Hmm." Oh, so,
I get
but
that all the time, but I'm the talker, but I have people open up to me all the time like, "Wow, she just told me all that." and I don't know her, like that's interesting. That's interesting. I walked into the dentist office the other day and there's like an L-shaped wall of chairs and you try to give people space, but the way it was is no matter where I sat, I was going to sit directly next to somebody and they were all spaced out from one another. So I walked in and went to sit next to this lady and I said, "Good morning." And she like all shocked, "Good morning." Like, wow. But that had happened to me. I have to have blood work done like all the time. I'm like a regular in Quest, right? And one morning I was sitting in there and it's always quiet unless there's a conversation going on amongst like a phlebotomist and a patient. And I think it was a woman. This woman walks in and just spoke to the group. "Y'all are very quiet this morning. Good morning. How are you?" And I'm just like, "Oh man, this is exciting." Just seeing somebody come stir it up, and get everybody excited for the morning. I was like this, but then there were Leslie's in the group that are like looking at their phone like, "Don't talk to me, lady." But it's true, you need to extend that olive branch, right? And just like the lady whose door she knocked on. And then, got her phone number because her daughters are like, "You're going to talk to this lady." And they became great friends. She would have never done that. I love it. How about you, Jane? Oh, you're muted, honey. There you go.
I like talking to people. So especially when I go to an office, I like to get to know the receptionist because I find out that if you call them by name, you can get, and I'm a type of person that if I'm doing any business on the phone at home, I take down everybody's name and I keep notes because I'm probably going to have to go back and look at stuff. And so I want to get to know the receptionist. So then if I call in, I can ask if they give you their name. They don't necessarily want to give their name, but for businesses, they usually do, especially if I'm doing business with an insurance carrier or someone offshore, because we're getting more and more of that with people I call and some businesses I call, which to me is very frustrating because it's difficult to understand their sing-songy. So I usually say, "Are you onshore or offshore?" So if you're offshore, you're usually in the Philippines because you can usually tell real quick, like, and oftentimes I get,
Onshore or offshore? That's such a polite way of
but
asking.
you, well, you can't,
Where
well,
do
you
live?
can't ask. Some of
Right.
them can't tell you where they're
Right.
at. So the onshore, they can say that. So yeah, so that's what, so I get to know, I try to get to know people.
That's so
And
good. And do you remember names or do you have to look back at your notes?
no, I remember names. Especially if I see them in person, I've kind of, well, especially as a nurse, you want to remember. If you don't remember their name, it's really a slap in the face. Like, okay, I'm not important to you. So yeah, and they tell you to say it like 3 times and it'll get into your memory bank. And so yeah, I do try to.
Yeah, that's definitely something I'm working on.
I'm
For
horrible
sure.
with names.
Yeah. Well, don't say
Me
that.
too.
Something you're
I know.
being better.
I'm working on it.
I'm gonna remember all names. That's a tough thing to get over negative statements, flipping it into a positive statement. Because even though you're saying the opposite of what you're saying, you're still saying it. You know what I mean? So it's a little tough sometimes.
But
All right, go ahead.
no, I just say, I agree, it is.
Yeah. All right, let me read our summary of the chapter here. In chapter 13, Robbins delves into the process of forming deep, meaningful relationships as an adult. Building on previous concepts like the great scattering and the 3 pillars of friendship, which are proximity, timing, and energy, Robbins presents these ideas as essential tools for understanding how adult relationships evolve. She draws on her personal experience of moving to a small town at the age of 54. After a year of isolation, Robin's daughters encourage her to reach out to a neighbor, which marked the beginning of her journey to integrate into the community. This led her to develop a method called the Going First strategy, where you take the initiative to introduce yourself, show interest in others, and make connections. This was one of the first things I learned in networking. I was part of BNI, which means Business Networking International. And they had a training on how to network within their group, which I found extremely helpful, even in the chambers and the women's groups and things like that that I was in, because they held it was costly, and you had required things that you had to do. You had to meet with people one-on-one in the group and get to know them. Ask them about themselves and how can you help them build their business? What type of referral could I send your way? And then they in turn ask you those questions. So now we've had this one-on-one conversation, like I talk about with sharing the opportunity in Mary Kay. Now you know more about what I do, and you can be a talent scout for me. Whether you buy the product or sell the product, you at least know you can refer people my way, right? So, and you were required to give a certain amount of referrals every week. So you were then looking for ways to help these other people grow in their business. And because you were helping them, now they in turn want to help you. Isn't that so true? Marilyn, you were saying earlier this morning on the Grade 8 call that you were so grateful for referrals that were just falling in your lap. So give me an example of one person that gave you a referral.
Beverly.
Beverly.
Beverly gave,
Not
Beverly
just,
gave.
not just because she's sitting there.
Yeah.
Who is Beverly?
No, Beverly, Beverly is in the other room
Oh,
right
okay.
now.
Is she
But
just a friend of yours, or does she live
yeah,
with
she's a friend of mine.
you? Okay.
And she put me in touch with someone from the Girl Scouts. And
Nice.
so, and I followed up on that and called this person, and I believe they're going to refer me to the council as an opportunity, which would be a really big step in getting in young women
Right.
for, so that was a, and then I've had, when I went to do my facial, um, that lady offered me a referral as well. So,
That's
um,
excellent. Did you ask for referrals, or did she just offer
no,
it?
I didn't have the,
The
I
thought?
was so, yeah,
Yeah.
but just goes to show you don't have to work real hard to get them if you know.
Yeah. I would love to do a call with you where we review that facial and go over the important closing questions, because that is one of the closing questions, is asking for referrals. We don't want to forget that.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
but it sounds like you did great. You know, I mean, you did it. You did it. Whether you did all the steps or not, you did it. And that's huge in itself, right? You ripped the band-aid.
Yeah.
So what does Beverly do?
Beverly works in the library here in Madison,
Okay. And is
but
there,
she used to sell Avon.
okay,
So she has some experience. She knows what you need to do your business. Yes.
right. And so does this make you want to help Beverly in some kind of way because she gave you this referral? Like, how did that feel? And maybe you didn't think this thought, but how did that feel getting that referral from Beverly? Did you then want to do something nice for her?
Of course. Yes.
Yeah. So that's what BNI taught me. And so now it's like, oh, if I ask people about themselves and I make them feel special, whether they buy Mary Kay or not, they're going to want to do business with me in one way or another, whether they use it, sell it, or just keep referring people to me. Anytime they hear somebody say, I'm looking for a Mary Kay or I'm looking for skincare, you got to talk to Christy. She's so sweet. She's going to make you feel really important, you know? And I think that's a big piece, not just in our adult friendships, but in just networking as a whole, as a business owner wanting to get in front of more people. I don't want people to feel like their relationship with me is based on if they use or sell Mary Kay, but I do want to spread joy wherever I go. And because I do that, I'll get referrals. It'll come in ways that I don't even expect, you know? So that's why, no, ladies, I don't want to do, I said to this lady today, I'm like, I don't want to network. I'm not asking you to get together so I could tell you more about Mary Kay. She didn't ask me that, but I said it right up front. Like, I didn't want this person feeling like, oh, she's trying to facial me. You know what I mean? I am more than just facials. And if you don't want a facial, that wrinkles to you.
Wrinkles too. Yeah.
No, she's got a good skincare routine. I'm just being silly. But yeah, that's such an important piece to show interest in others and make a connection. Because if people like you, they will do business with you. They will refer their friends and family. If they feel that you're just trying to make money off of them, and like Jane said, you can't even remember their name, you don't ask them any questions about themselves, you just tell them everything about Mary Kay and vomit on them, they're going to run, right? So that's why I said to this lady, okay, but you got to put the oxygen mask on yourself, right? What's going on? Take some time for you. And I just want to plant that seed with her. Hopefully it'll turn into a facial. But if not, she'll remember I was just trying to make her feel good, you know? So Robbins highlights the importance of weak ties that are casual acquaintances that can eventually turn into significant friendships. She shares how she systematically built relationships with regular patrons and staff of a local coffee shop, using details about their lives to foster deeper connections over time. So, if you watch my replay from last night's virtual facial, you're going to see how I interact with these ladies to find out what they do. All of them, most of them were in new seasons of their life. There was a new bride. There was a mom with her teenagers who is separated from her husband and starting in a new town, you know, and and then there's this one woman that really struggles with skincare. And what does she do? Wrote it down. Where are my notes from yesterday? Oh, they're over here. Oh, she's a seamstress. And I'm like, I'm going to need to connect with you because my seamstress just got married and doesn't want to. I didn't say all that to her, but my seamstress just got married and doesn't want to sew anymore. She wants to travel the world with her new husband. And she was really good. And now I don't have a seamstress. And I like to, I'm short. And every time we wear our fancy gowns to seminar, I need my dress brought up, because I'm short. So anyway, I'm going to do business with her. When I find out one of my clients has their own business, I'll find a way to help support them in it, whether it be using their business or just, giving them a shout out on social media. Like, hey, here's my new friend, Sarah. She's got a seamstress business. So any comments, thoughts before I move on? No? Okay. She provides 4 core strategies for forming new friendships. 1, ask about others' experiences, like seeing them truly as a human being with feelings and a life that we'll never know if we don't ask, right? 2, show genuine interest in their life. Like Leslie showed genuine interest because she put the phone down and she turned and she looked at that woman. And that showed genuine interest in what she was sharing, whether she really genuinely cared or not. It showed genuine interest, right? 3, maintain an approachable demeanor. Don't be so shut off from everybody that they can't approach you. And 4, avoid the expectation of instant friendship. Sometimes people need layers that I like to use the word layers of you to even know that they can trust you and like you. I had that with coworkers at the phone company. And I was told years later that when I came in and I was so positive and complimentary of everybody, they're like, what does she want? Who's this chick? What's her deal? What is she trying to get from us? Why does she tell me I'm pretty every day? And then she goes, and then we just realized that's just who you are. But they couldn't realize that that's who I am unless they knew me for a while and saw like, no, she genuinely just likes people and pays compliments. She's not trying to get anything. The chapter concludes with Robin's belief that patience is key in building a social network. Drawing from her own experience and her daughter's college transition, Robbins encourages readers to give it time, give it a year, as relationships require consistent effort and engagement to develop. It's so funny because this is like Mary Kay Ash training as well. It's always give it a year, give Mary Kay a year. Don't give it one party because that could be a flop. Don't give it one facial because that could take 5 hours. Give it a full year, and that's why they have their 90% buyback at a 12-month increment, right? So if I decided to do something different 18 years in, they're still going to reimburse me 90% of everything I've invested in the last 12 months. It's always give it a year. All right, one more year. Let's see, and it's true. Even in recovery, I've never been in recovery, but I have heard a lot of the 12 steps and that are very similar to what other people do in different areas of their life. But they will say, don't go into a romantic relationship for 1 year in recovery. And they'll say, keep a plant alive for 1 year. Like having something to focus on that's not going to possibly derail you or cause you emotion in that year, So it was so good because I loved hearing her talk about her daughter and how, like, in the final days of that first year, she met her best friends for the rest of her life. She never would have met those friends if she had come home and given up. So do you guys have any examples of that? Like, oh, I'm so glad I didn't quit that because this happened and I wasn't sure at first, but right. Go ahead, Leslie.
No, not necessarily that, but I do have a situation where when I got Miss Go Give, I was like, well, I'm glad people actually like me because you've made the comment too, like I'm hard to read. So I'm not always, it's not like I'm trying to be rude, but I just always have a certain face on. Some people may call it the rested bitch face. I don't know. Whatever. It is what it is. But one of my best friends, that I became really close with, she to this day, she still tells people this story. The first time she ever met me, she thought, who the heck is this girl who's walking around looking like she's better than everybody else? But we became like best friends. I mean, we did everything together. We hung out every weekend. We were always at each other's houses. But it just makes you have to look at yourself too and remind yourself to
Smile.
fix your face.
Yeah.
And my kids tell me that all the time, fix your face, mom. Fix your face. Fix your face. But you just don't you don't realize that until but some people won't ever tell you that. And I'd rather you tell me to fix my face than let me walk around looking like I'm pissed off with the world or whatever. But yeah.
Did you ever listen to that Thea Elvin recording, Give Up on Giving Up, that I've shared before? It's like when I start to doubt, this is like the recording I listen to. And in there, she goes, if you're happy, inform your face.
There you go. Yeah. Let your face know.
Let your face know you're happy. Let others know. Oh, man. Anybody else have a story or something that, this chapter brought them back to with that? Did you go to college? Did you have a struggle in your first year? Have you struggled to make new friends in the scattering of your life and different moves in that, right? Jane, not everybody has their best friend follow them across the country and become their neighbor twice in life, right? So how is that moving and being in a new state?
It's fun. I mean, because we reminisce about what, our kids were doing at that time and stuff. But probably a better story that my first year of college, I went to Winona, Minnesota, and then I transferred after that. And to this day, two of my friends, we still, every Christmas, we send a letter, so to keep up. And last summer, I went and actually, they're both from Chicago, but one lives on the East Coast now, and the other one's still in the suburb of Chicago. But I got together with my friend in Chicago, and we hadn't seen each other for it must have been 30 years, maybe closer to 35, or no, it's probably even 40 because time goes on. And so, yeah, it was great. I mean, I got to see her house. I got to, she's a nurse too. So you just kind of touch base and, what your family's doing because you go back freshman year in college. Everybody remembers their first years. I mean, it was practically all girls school. I had more restrictions my freshman year of college than I ever did at home.
Wow.
It was a nunnery. It was.
Yeah. I never went away to college, so I never had that experience.
It was
I moved out of my parents' house in with my first husband, back into my parents' house, and then I got my own place, and that was with a 4-year-old. So
wow.
I never quite lived by myself or had roommates, and once I left that condo that I had bought with my son, was with Tom. We blended our families and I moved from there in with Tom. So yeah, I've always lived with another human being in the home. Yeah. No dorm room experience I mean, Mary Kay is really my sorority college experience when I go to conferences and things like that, that's the only experience I have with that, but it's a good one. It's a good positive one. How about you, Marilyn?
Well, I had college dorm experience, and I remember being terrified that first day that I had to go to college and meet this new roommate that I didn't know, and we got along fabulously. We just sh- she just she was like she took my lead. No matter what I said to do, she did. And it worked out real well. But I've also lived by myself several times, and and it's a good experience for people, but you do have to fill that out with going out among the other groups, and church has been important for me to do that. It's given me many more opportunities for friendship.
Yeah. So that's another thing that's been on, tugging at my heart. We're doing this Experiencing God Bible study, and this chapter that we're in is talking about your church and does your church pray and who are you in the body of your church, right? And we watch church from the couch. So we left our local church probably about 5 years ago, I feel like, and started watching this church that's probably about 35 minutes away, on Sunday morning. So we don't even really know how the people are in the church we attend because we've never gone there for church. I went there for a celebration of life. My friend's son had committed suicide, and I went to the celebration there. And the pastor just really spoke to me. Like, he helped me understand suicide, and no one has been able to help me understand suicide like that. So at that moment, we were in conflict with switching churches. And so I said, I'd like to go here. Let's just watch it on TV. And we just continued to watch it on TV. So now I'm like, how am I being a blessing to my community and my church if I'm watching it from home? So now I feel like I'm being led to go back to that original church that we were at to be the difference. I didn't like the way they handled the scandal that had happened there. There were no elders. Like, I felt lied to, and I threw my sucker in the dirt, as Jody would say, and I left. And I'm like, how does that help them understand people and change if I just walk away from a problem? So that's kind of the crossroads that I'm at right now. I talked to Tom about it yesterday, and he's like, I'll go wherever you want me to go. So if you want to go back over there, we can go back. And just like the in-person events, yes, this is great that we can get together no matter where we live and we can talk on Zoom, but there's something different when we're in the same room, when we have human contact, when we can give each other a hug, when there can be a side conversation and the goodbyes and things like that. So I know that the songs, I'll feel it differently because I'm kind of scrolling my phone during the songs, waiting for church to start. I wouldn't do that in the church. My phone would be put away and I'd be singing and worshiping. And I'm not singing in my living room. Sometimes depends on the song, but I don't sing like I do in church in my living room, so little conviction there. Some important takeaways. Initiate connections. Taking the first step is essential. Don't wait for others to approach you. Be the one to start the conversation and show interest. 2, weak ties matter. Casual acquaintances can evolve into meaningful friendships over time with effort and shared experiences. 3, patience pays off. Building strong friendships as an adult is a gradual process. Give relationships time to develop naturally. And 4, the 4 key strategies for friendship. Ask questions to learn more about others. Show genuine interest in their responses. Maintain an approachable and friendly demeanor. And don't rush. Allow friendships to grow without expectation. The related problems that can be caused are difficulty in forming new friendships. Many adults struggle with making new friends due to time constraints, geographic relocation, or just fear of rejection. That's why many people in Mary Kay do not go out and warm chat and get leads. They're afraid they're going to say no to them. Rather than being excited about the yes, they're more fearful about the no. And so there's this book, The Fear of Rejection, or not The Fear of Rejection, it's called Rejection Proof, and it's about the fear of rejection. So this guy goes out to ask 100 people random crazy questions like, can I borrow $100? Can I plant a flower in your backyard? Can you make these donuts into Olympic rings and color them? Like just, do you have free burger refills at McDonald's? Do you have free burger refills? And there are burger refills. What's that? You got to listen. He does a TED talk. His name is Jia Jiang, 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 I believe. And just look up rejection proof and listen to his TED talk. It's like a 15-minute TED talk, but the book itself is so good to see that. Well, what I realized is people will say no, but then they might ask why. So you might get a yes by rephrasing the question or explaining to them why you're doing it. Like the guy said, no, you can't borrow $100, and he had recorded it. He said, but why? What do you need it for? Right? Like that could have changed his mind. Or the guy that he wanted to plant the flower in his backyard said no. And he's like, but you know what? It's just because I have a dog. My dog would tear that flower up in a minute. But Susie across the street, she loves flowers. I bet she'd let you plant a flower in her backyard. And he didn't even know why this random stranger wanted to plant a flower in his backyard. But he referred him to the lady across the street. So he got a yes to plant the flower across the street. All to get over the fear of rejection. And he did. He got over it. It's so good. Impatience in relationship building. People often expect quick results, leading to disappointment when relationships don't immediately flourish. Yep. So sometimes people need more time to get to know you, to warm up to you, and sometimes you make an immediate friend. So it's good advice. Any thoughts, comments, more stories?
When you spoke of layering,
Yeah.
do you have like a definition of a layer? Other than, when you speak of social layering.
Yeah. When I speak of Mary Kay layering.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So under tracking on bees.pink, hold on, let me make sure I'm not lying here. No, it's under team building. I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show you.
Okay.
This is team building on bees.pink. This is the layering sheet over to the right.
Gotcha.
And when you click on it, you get the PDF that you can print, and there's different things you want to make sure your customers are being layered with. Like they love the product, they've gone home with samples, they've hosted a party or at least been asked to host a party. I do need to update this. The Coupon Club / video is right now watching the video on the $500 cash giveaway thing that we're doing. Have you asked for referrals? That's a layer. Have they attended an event, either in person or virtually? Did you do the What Women Want survey? That's also on team building, bees.pink, okay? And that's for existing customers. So the What Women Want survey right here asks your current customers, what's your favorite Mary Kay product? What product would you like to try? I'm going to share some quick fun facts about the Mary Kay opportunity and what is the most appealing part of the Mary Kay business for you. You know, just going through, even if you've interviewed them and you've had them on an event, this is just having more conversation about Mary Kay to see if it might be for them, or maybe you can layer them on more products, right? Because it's not on the website here, but there's this thing out there called the 45 to Thrive. When you have 45 customers buying at least $1,000 worth of product throughout the year, then you've just done the quarter sales and earned a diamond ring because it's 45,000 retail, right? And so she has layers of, okay, now you got them on the skincare. Are they on supplements? Have they bought a brush collection? Are they using the body care? Did they smell the perfumes? Like how many layers of products have you shown your existing customers that have definitely said no to the opportunity? But every time I share a product with them, I'm going to ask them about the opportunity again, And there are definitely, I mean, I've recruited people that I layered for 6 years. They kept telling me no, no, no. And then finally they were in a place where they said, yeah, I'm going to give this a try. Did they do the Skin Analyzer app on the Skin Analyzer results on that app? Are they in our customer Facebook group, which is Peek into Pink Bees on Facebook? Did you do a Pearl Girl chat? That's a full-on interview conversation with me, or once you learn to do it alone. And you're going to earn pearls jewelry, like earrings and a bracelet and a necklace. Did they get a recruiting packet, which I just showed you how to print? Have you had coffee with them and just asked them straight out, will you join my team? So different layers, right?
Okay, so I see so that applies socially, like in the book,
Yeah.
because you want to layer your
That's like just getting to know somebody. Let's spend some more time together. I know you have kids. I don't know their names. What do you like to do with your kids? Is there sports? What do you and your husband do? Are you married, right? How long have you been married? Where did you meet? Right? Like there's so much to get to know somebody. And I really love the Mary Kay interview guide because it asks people questions. Like I got to know my friends so much better when I was becoming a DIQ or a director in DIQ because it asks questions like, what are your goals in the next 5 years? Where would you see yourself? Tell me about yourself, your family, job, education, hobbies. Like, tell me about that. And they would tell me things. And I'm like, I didn't know that. I've known you for 20 years. I didn't know that, you know? Because it doesn't always genuinely come up in conversation unless we ask. Unless we're asking probing questions, right? I remember going through counseling with my ex-husband. Now, this didn't work for us, but I thought it was a good tool. They said, go date. Go to dinner and ask each other questions like you ask on a first date. What's your favorite color? Do you like reading books? Right? Because obviously we had gotten out of that and we were so caught up in life and what happened that we stopped remembering why we fell in love in the first place. And those things that were like that 6 years ago could very well be different today because we become different versions of ourselves over time. The books that I liked when I was 20 are not the books I like today. That is for sure. Same with movies and shows and rides. I'm not so big on the roller coasters like I was when I was 20 years old. I don't need the vertigo. So I mean, you're constantly changing and evolving, and if we don't ask those questions amongst our adult friends, then we don't even really know. I love my friend Marianne. She came over the other day to help me do these shadow boxes to remember my dog, who we had to put down a couple weeks ago. And she does not have social media. So every time we are together, I have to update her and she has to update me because we know nothing about what's been going on in each other's lives unless we talk to one another. And that was a huge adjustment for me when I became friends with her. I'm like, what? Just go on Facebook. Like, you're going to see all this on Facebook. She goes, no, I'm not going on Facebook. She goes, but I do watch all your Fab Five videos on Friday because I get an email. And she goes, I could tell you your hostess plan. I go, if you could tell me my hostess plan, then how about you be a hostess and host a party for me? But I just, I love those friendships because we always have something to talk about. We're always inquisitive of, our past and what made us who we are today because we didn't know each other then. So there's always questions you can ask. And as long as that person knows you and trusts you, they're not going to see it as intrusive. That's just what friends do, is get to know each other. If I don't know you like that, then I can't really call you one of my inner circle friends if I don't really know what your core is. So your action plan, objectives to reach is develop a strategy for initiating meaningful friendships. What would a strategy be to initiate some friendships?
Open your mouth.
Open your
somewhere.
mouth. Yeah, get out of your house, right?
Get out of your
Exactly.
house.
Like Marilyn said, if you live alone, you got to get up. You got to go meet somebody new. My brother was such a hermit. He still is. That he met his wife because she was friends with my sister and came to the house. This is no joke. So it's like, you can't complain that he stays home all the time. That's how you met him. That's the man you fell in love with. You had to come over to see him, So, but it works for them. It would drive me crazy. I wouldn't be with somebody like that. That would drive me absolutely bonkers. Like when she's on vacations with my sister and all their kids, and they go to this fun park or they go to this attraction or whatever. It's always those two and the kids. Like, their husbands aren't anywhere. It's like, I wouldn't want that, but they're very happy. Okay.
Let them.
I'm gonna let them
Yeah,
travel alone.
that's
I'm gonna
good.
let them. That's right.
That's good, Marilyn.
Yeah. Set a goal, right? So who am I gonna meet today? Mary Kay Ash always said, don't let somebody get within 3 feet of you without you greeting them and introducing yourself and just try to get to know them. Now, she said it in the book too. If they're nasty or they're not responsive, that's on them, but you've made the initial connection. If somebody smiles at me, I'm going to talk to them. That is a friendly person. Or if I say hello and they say hello back. Tom and I walk this neighborhood every day with the dog, twice a day, at least, sometimes 3 times a day. And there are people that we will wave and say hello to, and they flat out ignore us as they walk by. But we make the initiative, And then there's people that'll stop and talk our ear off. We're like, oh boy, here comes Karen. We're not getting home anytime soon. And she talks to everyone like that. So if we're like, okay, well, we gotta go, we got a thing. And then we see, Susan coming down this way. I'm like, oh, Susan's getting it next. And then you turn around and they're sitting there talking about the same stuff, It's all fun though.
Leslie and I know someone like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So funny.
And then we stand behind the other people and we're like, do we go help them or do we just let them?
So what do you do? Do you help
Depends on
them?
who that person is.
Oh, that's good.
And their schedule for the day, right?
Right.
Like, do I need to get somewhere or do I have time to play with this? Yeah. But I truly enjoy Karen. Like, I really enjoy talking to her. Like, I get excited when I see her coming, but I know I'm not going to get home anytime soon. Right.
Mm.
And I keep working on her. She almost hosted a party for me a couple months ago, and then she got busy at work, and I'm like, girl, we have got to get together so we can like really talk and get to know, and you can see what I do, you know, that kind of thing. So but I feel like every conversation I have with her, it's just her warming up to knowing that it's not just about Mary Kay, but I do want to share Mary Kay with you. I'm very excited about it and I want to share that with you. So I'll get her one of these days. I don't bring it up every time we see each other, but I bring it up. Shift perspective on casual acquaintances to recognize their potential for deeper connections. That's what I did with Karen. We would just be friendly and say hey, and she'd, you know, ask about our dogs, but I never asked about her. You know, so I took the initiative to start talking to her about herself and getting to know more about her and that kind of thing. So, and cultivate patience in the process of forming lasting relationships. All right. It's a bit repetitive, but I think we need that repetitive stuff to actually do it, right? So take initiative, use the going first strategy, track your progress, and be patient. So reach out to one person each week to initiate a new connection. Deal?
Sure.
One, I've already done mine today. One person and it's someone you already know, to just bring that relationship a little bit further. Make note of details, names, hobbies, interests to remember and personalize future interactions, as well as with your customers. You know, that's what our note section is for in our customer profiles. Every time I have a conversation with a customer, I'm reminding my future self what we talked about today. Her daughter's going off to college, because I know I'm not going to remember all that when I talk to her in 2, 6 months, whatever it is, right? But if I go into my notes and say, so how was your daughter's graduation? That's going to speak volumes to her. I remember once a hairdresser asked me about something that I was talking about at the last one. And I go, how do you remember that? She goes, girl, I take notes. And I thought, that is genius. I'm going to start taking notes with my customers and writing down what I talked to them about. She's like, oh yeah, every time a customer leaves, I write little notes to remember. And, you know, she's like, some of the things I remember if I see my clients enough close together, you know, but at the time I was not going that often. Now I go every 6 weeks. So she could remember everything I talk about probably, which is pretty much Mary Kay. I need some hobbies.
So Christy, when you say you take notes, do you put them on the computer or do you
Yeah.
put them on the back of the back?
If you ask Josie that question, she puts them on the back of their profile card. Everything is paper with Josie. I pull up my customer profiles and I type all my notes in there. If I left them a message and wished them a happy birthday, if I sent them a postcard, if I, you know, whatever I'm doing with my customer, I will put that note in there. So these notes are people who are not my customers yet. Once they become my customers, then they go into my database. These are leads I want to become customers, right? And then once they are my customers, all the notes go on the computer.
And those notes you do on the computer, those are part of the Mary Kay program, or
Yeah, Mary Kay
yes,
in Touch. Yeah, if you go
in
into my
touch.
customers on Mary Kay in Touch, you can put notes. You can have a picture of your customer in there. You can have their birthday, which I recommend because then you can send them birthday discounts. And you can also put in the notes like, where did I meet this person? Because I like to know where I met somebody. So I can go back and go, oh, I met her through Susie. Well, how did I meet Susie? I go to Susie's profile. Oh, I met her over at this vendor event, you know? And it just gives me a little crumb trail to look at how this one person turned into all these other customers because of the relationship that we built. Yeah. Because there will come a point that you look at your customer base and you're not going to remember, who is that woman? How did I know her? Did I facial her? You're not going to remember it all once you have regular facials coming through and parties. Unless she's one of those people that you talk to all the time. Like I have customers that order every month. Every month they place orders for different things. They love the special deals. So I'm like, don't you need this? Yeah, but I'm going to wait till next month and see what's on the special deals. Okay. Yep. All right. Well, that's it for today, ladies. That was a lot. You got some
good.
Mary Kay training, you got some personal life training. Now we're all going to have the best friends in the whole wide world. And we're going to go out and be a blessing in someone's life today, okay? Those who show up, go up, ladies. Thanks for being here today.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.